If you're done playing small, you're in the right place. If you're done with doing the bare minimum, you're in the right place. If you're done with the spiral of, well, because this, but then I know I got to do that, but then but maybe if this, because, and you're done with that, you're in the right place. Hi, 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 hi. I'm so happy to be here. Hi. We just finished our last womanhood initiation for this round. Womanhood initiation is an opportunity for the woman who I've described here thus far, who knows she needs community now, who is looking to stop all the looping, the bare minimum, the hiding, the isolation, the playing small. And she's really ready to be seen. She's really ready to do her work in the world, to stop the looping, to play a bigger game, to organize herself so that she can steward her mission, embody, so she can stop being, you know, just so overwhelmed by large energy, overwhelmed by her own emotions, overwhelmed by other people's energy, and being scared of other people's energy and emotions, and learning how to contain vast amounts of emotions and energy in people skillfully. These are skills to develop. These are skills to develop. And I'm pleased. Okay, so I'm pleased because about 10 minutes before I met with the women, it was on Zoom, I had a breakthrough. It was so good. Oh, it was so good. It just really cracked open the love of it all. Like, really, like, why am I doing this? Like, what drove me a decade ago? Like, two of the women who showed up to the Womanhood Initiation came to my and 10 years ago, I went on tour. The name of my tour was called Better Sex and Deeper Intimacy. And it was all about true pure connection. This is when I was so just what one of my former members used to call ignorance on fire. You ever be like so excited about something? You don't know what you're doing, but you're excited. You don't know where it's gonna go, but you're excited. You don't know, you don't even know to be scared. You don't even know to check this, do that. And you're just driven by just pure passion, desire, excitement. That's where I was on this tour. And the women reminded me that I led everybody through this hugging, and it was co-ed. It was co-ed, and there were like maybe 35 people there. This was in Miami. And it was either like Miami or Deerfield Beach. Anyway, and they reminded me today, they both said how it changed their life, how pivotal it was. And I just got, oh my God, oh my God. And when I tell you the timing, how impeccable the timing was, because as I said, 10 minutes before I met with them, I was sitting right here in this chair, just readying myself to be with the women, just really getting present, just sitting here quietly. And prior to me sitting here, there was this feeling of I was going back and forth, just like frustrated about something. And I just didn't like the way it felt. And it's like, this is not why I'm here. Why are you? It's like, this is not why I'm here. And I was listening to some meditation work earlier, and it was like, Naima, this is misaligned. And I caught it. And I sat down and I got present with, okay, so what is, why? And it just, and then to have them mirror that, I'm telling you, it's sort of like how they artificially make diamonds cost more. like artificially. Diamonds are plentiful. Diamonds are plentiful. They're not rare. They're not like, no, they just manipulate it to give the illusion of rarity so they can make it look more appealing, make it harder to get. So you pay more so you feel like you, oh my God, I got the better thing. You got to like, have it on, be on a wait list to get it. So then when you get it, you feel like, I've been on a wait list for 6 months to get this diamond, girl. I got the rare one up out of a Congo, girl. The rare one up out of Sri Lanka, girl. Right? But it's all fake. It's all artificial. And it's the same thing with us believing we need to work for love. We need to earn it. Or even like we just all agree, not all, but many of us agree to play the game of like earn the girl, earn the man, earn, especially in the capitalistic society. It's like you earn, you know? You earn my attention. You earn my love. You earn my. Now, when I agree, when I play that game, that's just me choosing to agree with that game, but it's still a fake game. I'm just agreeing to play it. And part of what was driving me, Morgan said, I'm so tired of hearing the word sacrifice when I mention dating. I'm just wondering what context, what that is, what you mean, right? But part of what was driving me for that Better Sex and Deeper Intimacy tour, hi YouTube, I see you. Part of what was driving me in that Better Sex and Deeper Intimacy tour and why I facilitated us through this hugging exercise that was co-ed, it was all about getting into feeling with people and speaking truth to things. And it was so vulnerable and it was so tender and it was so true. And it was such a wide variety. I mean, we had because it's Miami, there were a significant number of Latin folks there, but it was like probably 98% of color and maybe a couple white folks. And part of what was driving it was and it's still here today. It's still here today. Like, gosh, just remembering. And it feels so good right now. Like, I don't even want to say it. I just want to feel it a little longer. The like even the work to manifest the man, right? To manifest the woman. The like feeling like it's so good. We've been through so much. And like it's all this, and I don't know where this comes from. I just maybe one of you here knows, like this idea that working for it makes it more valuable. No, it was already valuable. You just wanted that feeling that you get when you put yourself on the waiting list for the diamond, and that makes you feel like it's more valuable. And when it comes to the love thing and really the connection and what is underneath so much of the anxiety in the world, the angst, the way we'll cling to an idea, like the man who said whatever he said earlier in here about whatever he said, right? That's his belief system, right? So all the belief systems that we have that keep us separated from people, like that's his, right? And any idea that we create and hold on to keep ourselves separate from people for whatever reason, separate from fat people, separate from millennials, separate from them, separate, those people, those Christians, those Jews, just any story I tell myself to keep myself separate from somebody for any reason, I really wanted to dissolve all of those at this Better Sex and Deeper Intimacy 10 years ago, and for us to remember life, like actual heaven on earth, what it looks like. Now, I'm not talking about a utopia, okay? I'm not talking about a utopia because we're humans. We have cognitive abilities. We can, and we're kinky. We like struggle. The fruits of the world tells us that humans like struggle, war, fighting, earning, hardship. Humans like it. That okay. We love it. We love to hurt, even when we think we like all the things. And right, so we don't make anybody bad and wrong for that. It's like, and returning to love, especially ding, ding, ding. For those of you who are public facing, you plan to be public facing, you plan to be profitable, highly profitable as a transformational mentor, speaker, coach, healer, author, all the things. And so when you come out, right, in whatever way you come out, a podcast, YouTube, TED Talk, workshops, retreats, etc., you are bringing you out to interact with other people who like pain, okay? Who like to project, who like to judge, who like to make up stories, who like to create war, who like to, right? And most people are not in conscious awareness that they like these things, okay? And so here you are on your YouTube channel talking about your book, talking about healing sexual trauma, talking about opening your heart again after heartbreak, talking about whatever, right? Because you want to help people, because you want to help yourself, because you want to be profitable with all the things. And people who like pain are watching you. People who love to create war are watching you. You got your own unconscious mind doing its thing in the background. You know, you got your family watching you who they don't know you and they're learning about you by watching your content. You know, you got men who got ideas about who you are and what women should be watching you. You got all of this watching you. And it's so important to you, whether you've come conscious to this or not, to maintain love. Because it's very easy to become bitter, to want to isolate, withdraw, come into fear, to just want to snap back when here you are doing a YouTube video to help women heal sexual trauma. And let's say a man comes, like a man came onto my YouTube channel the other day when a clip was put up about love and the variety of ways that women love, and that when we aren't doing when we are chronically doing things out of obligation, have to, how it dries us up. But as soon as we start doing things from love, etc., that's when we find our nourishment and that we love in a variety of ways. And his comment was, oh, so you telling women to be hoes. You're going to get this a lot from males on the internet. When you start talking about love, when you start talking about sex power, when you start talking about sexual liberation, because they translate sexual liberation to mean fucking a bunch of men. And that's not what I mean when I say that. But the point is, you could be talking about anything that's meaningful to you, that's helping you get your point right, tantric breath, right? That's helping you to get your point across. That's helping you to tell a story. That's helping you to help the people who you're there to help, including yourself, and other people who have their own ideas, who have their own unconscious mind, who have their own opinions, are going to say things. And if you struggle with maintaining love, with remembering why you started to begin with, why did you write this? Why did you organize yourself? Why are you going live? Why are you creating this content? Why are you investing all this time in your life force energy to help, to write the book, to serve, to get on TikTok, to get on Instagram, YouTube, etc., and you let yourself become bitter by other people's projection, becoming bitter by your own projection, become bitter by negative comments, ugly comments, people who are clearly meaning to shut you down. They want you to be insecure. They want you to be scared. They want you to be doubtful, and you don't develop the skill. And this is another reason why the tour mattered, the skill of remembering physiologically, like how I was feeling a moment ago. And I was like, let me, before I say it, let me just feel my reminder. And great, this is great. The segue now into part of what I brought up today. Okay, the segue. Let me say this before I go. Thank you for the things I'm seeing, the hearts and the all the things. Thank you for sharing the live stream, Goddess Day. For the rest of you who are here and you're finding value and you want to share and you want other people to experience the value, please share. There's an arrow down below. Biffy, thank you for sharing. Thank you for all the roses, Star. You're welcome, Ya Child. Hello, Star. One of the things I mentioned today is that part of my intent, thank you. I am, you are, I will, we will. Yeah, yeah. There is a demonized, potent, dangerous energy that melanin dominant women walk around with. It is potent, it is dangerous, it is demonized, and it is foreign to us. It is foreign to us. Okay. Because it is foreign to us. So you know the sheer fact that you're like, why is it dangerous, right, Latoya? Because you know what I'm talking about. So I'll answer that. It's dangerous because it has the potential to restore righteousness on this planet, who we actually are as the creators of civilization, as the mothers, as the leaders, as the foregoers. Everything that women at large has been demonized. And then at a whole other degree of demonization for melanin dominant women. When we unleash and become purified, okay? Whenever I start to talk about primal power, I get comments like, girl, if I come into my primal power, I'm gonna bust his windows. Girl, I'm gonna kill somebody. Girl, they're talking about an impure, unrefined, all over the place power. That is not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the power that is still in its chaos. I'm talking about the power that absolutely knows. The power that cannot be governed. It cannot be contained, and it cannot be diluted with fear. You may cover it in fear, but in its state as is, it cannot be contaminated. It's why no matter how scared you are, when that gets activated, fear dissolves. This is why males, the government, social order, all the things that are on top, the symbols in your own mind, what you know you're going to come up against because it's been happening for centuries. This is why men know to say to you, oh, what you a hoe? Or what you see, that's Jezebel spirit. Or what you want to fuck niggas. When you start talking about anything that has the potential to destroy all the lies, even the good lies. Whenever not only women, but specifically melanin dominant women start to return to pure power, which happens in your refinement of your emotions, which happens in you getting to know everything that's underneath what's driving you. Because it's not necessarily the desire, it's what's behind it. And this is how you get trapped. Because if you say no to desire and you start doing all the things up above it, it keeps you at a frequency that can be easily governed, manipulated, talked at, knocked down, etc. The purpose of desire, the ones that will not quit. I'm not talking about just wants. Oh, I want this, I want that. All those are nice. That's nice, right? I want to travel. Great, go travel. I want to take my kids to Disneyland. Great, take the kids to Disneyland. I want a 5,000 square foot house, brand new with 6 bedrooms, and great, go have that. Desire is the thing that no matter how much you say no, you try to give yourself a reason to not do it, right? It persists. You could go through a death in the family. You could go through a divorce. You could lose all your money. You could go, and it could be 20 years, that thing will come back over. And how many of you have been pushing away a desire for the last 10, 15, 20 years? You got instructions, you got a call to do something 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 20 years ago, and that thing won't quit. That is desire. That is desire. Somebody said desire costs money. What do you do when you don't have money? If you're asking the question about money, it's not a true desire. Here's why. True desire, when activated, is a heat-seeking missile. Okay, this is going to go far. What does that mean? Whenever you have truly wanted something, not like, man, I sure would like a new house. I sure would like an extra $100, $1,000. I sure would like, no. I mean, when you like, this is mine. Girl, this is mine, girl. This is mine. Do you be like, girl, I don't got the money. I can't. Or you be like, girl, I'm about to go get this money, girl. We about to figure this shit out, girl. I'm about to get this. However you talk about it, but is that the case? Yes or no? When you're heeing and hawing, and I would like to, but girl, that shit costs money, girl. That's one of your indicators that it's not true desire. Now, there's a caveat to this, okay? There's a caveat to this. One of the ways, and I want to, okay, hold on. I think she may come up because she just came right here. One of the methods that has worked for centuries with women is to conflate desire with evil. You ever notice you have a desire and it's like, but can I? The thing that's been swelling in you for 5 years, 10 years, 15, 20 years. Am I going to get in trouble? How am I going to look? They're going to call me selfish? Can I really do that? What they going to say? Yes? Yes? So this is very, very deep. And ancestral things are being activated right now. And it's so important to me to be present. I mentioned today And I've said this many times. We need, we so desperately need so many things. We so desperately need. This is so much, you guys. This is so much. This is so much. Oh my God. Oh, please give me. Please open to me. Open to me. So what I'm sensing and getting right now is there's so much that wants to come through at one time. And I have to slow it down so I can speak. There's just so much. And so also what I'm getting right now is so many more of you need to get your vocals open. You need to become willing to be out and speak. Because what's happening is that when you are a channel that's truly available, a lot comes through. A lot comes through. And when more of us are available to truly channel, listen, truly, okay? Pre dynasty knowledge, pre empire knowledge, pre empire knowledge. And so what happens is when a channel like me is available, everything comes over here because it's like here, 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 here. But then I have to slow it down to bring it out into words. So here's a potent area. Here's a potent area right here. Now, before I say what I'm getting ready to say, I already know you all have lots of feelings about what I'm getting ready to say, right? Men and women have a lot of feelings and ideas, etc., about what I'm getting ready to say. I just want you to suspend them. I don't want to change your mind. I just want you to suspend for a moment. So as I speak, okay, I am sent here to bring heaven here on earth. I'm sent here. Please listen to me. Oh, okay. All of y'all, all of y'all, all of y'all, all of y'all have the power. And I'm talking to women first. Talking to women first. All of y'all have the power to bring heaven here to earth the way that it has been given to you. It's been given to you differently than how it's been given. There are parts of it that we share, and there are parts of it that's been given to you. When I say heaven on earth, I mean the true heart of you that even wants to help, in whatever way you're called to help. Write a book, YouTube, coach, heal, retreats, workshops, garden, beautify yourself, beautify women. You need to understand, okay? You have the power. You have the power. There's zero doubt about that. You have the power first, okay? Next, the power is dormant in you. The power is dormant in you. The power is dormant in you. What currently lives on top of the power is a constitution of ancestral memory, okay? The memories that your bones, your blood, your being, your body have around women who stood in power, women who were the leaders, okay, who were doing the things. I'm going to bring the men into here in a moment, okay? Remember, I'm talking pre-empire, pre-dynasty, okay? And even at some points into it as well, okay? We going, okay? So remember, the power that you have to bring your version of heaven to earth currently lives dormant in you. And it percolates all the time, wanting to come up. So just imagine, like, this is your homeostasis of how you live every day, doing whatever you do, taking care of your kids, cooking, going to work, running, whatever, right? And the power that you have is under here, constantly wanting to come up and express in life through a book, and a book that sells, right? That reaches people, that does what it's intended to do, right? And maybe the intention was just for you to have a cathartic opportunity, right? But write the book, lead the workshops that help women heal, lead the retreats that bring women back to their body and their heart and their soul, help women beautify themselves again after being tore down from domestic violence. Whatever it is that you constantly, even if you get distracted by life, some kind of fear happens, somebody dies, you have a big life event, all the things that veer you off, you always come back to wanting to do that thing that sits dormant, pushing up, wanting to come out, right? And so when I hear you say, or you hear yourself saying, I want to live my best life, I want to level up, I want to break all limitations, I want the adventure, I want to do it all. I know I'm here on God's work. I'm here to restore the kingdom. That's the part of you that's dormant, percolating, wanting to come up. That's what it is when you saying all of that. I'm ready to bring my shine back. I'm ready to be big. I'm ready to be seen. I'm ready to play a big game. Is that dormant part of you that's constantly, forever and ever and ever. So for women, for women, for women, those of you who are called to do true power work at the highest levels, what do I mean when I say power work at the highest levels? I mean any work, any work, any work, any work that's going to bring back who we were as it was in the beginning, so shall it be in the end. Any woman or man who's doing work to restore what is truly right. And you know it's right when it percolates, no matter how much, because how many of you have been like, no, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. I don't want the responsibility. I don't want it. I don't want it. No, I don't want it. No, that ain't, no. And so you go do this, you go do that, and your ass be 56 years old Still, that thing that was calling you at 26 is trying to come up. You think you can go have some kids because that'll knock it down because I'm busy with the kids. You think you can go get married and hide behind a man and feed him the energy. That don't work because he don't want to see you in no power because, right? And you don't want to assert it for whatever reasons, all them ancestral memories, blah, 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 right? You think you can go get a job. You go get sick. Look, somebody already said, look, that's me, 56 with 2 sons. Right? You think you can go distract yourself with this. You can go do this and somehow you can get yourself busy enough. Some of y'all unconsciously create sickness in your life. You break something. You get some kind of big disease. All of the stuff you start manufacturing unconsciously because I don't want the responsibility. I don't want to do that. I need to open a window. Hold on. You get called to do true power work that's restoring the true righteousness. And I'm talking through a woman's lens right now. I'm talking through a woman's lens, and we may or may not get to the men today. Okay. And for a woman, right? For a woman, for a woman, for a woman. In order for you to exist on the throne truly, what do I mean when I say on the throne? I mean, you are skilled in being the profoundness that you are. That's what I mean. You are skilled at being the profoundness of who you are and your wholeness, your dark, your light, your good, your bad, the emotionality of yourself and others. Skilled. What do I mean by skilled? Everything you use in service, everything, 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 everything. You use it in service to humanity, which is you, and then everybody who's around you, and then there's a ripple. That is being on the throne, okay? Which then enables you to do all the work in the world that you keep getting called to do. Thank you for the likes on YouTube. Please share, okay? Someone's already asking how to get there. Listen to more of this because the how question is not the question. I could tell you how right now and you wouldn't move because of this, what I'm talking about. And if you did move, you wouldn't get far. So please listen. I told y'all this is deep. We're talking pre-empire. We're talking about ancestral memory that's in the way. It's not even in the way. It's really to inform you of what has gotten in the way mainly for like how we could even get here today. With so many, like how, anyway. So for a woman to activate this was dormant and to really bring it out. Okay, hold on. Now remember I said any true power work that's going to restore melanin dominant men and women who are called to rule into their right place. Okay. Gosh, this is okay. Now we are primal. I'm getting ready to connect all this. It's going to get there. Okay. We are primal. We are primal. We are hyper spiritual primal beings. What do I mean? First of all, our tantra, our sexual energy, etc. All of that exists in the realm of primal. Life force energy. Somebody here used the word percolate. I think I did too. Percolation, life force energy, even fire, okay, is active, primal, hyper intelligent energy system, etc. On top of that, being a melanin person gives you direct and immediate kind of connection. Hold on one second. That's my niece. She hear me talking. I had to close the window or she gonna keep hollering. So being wrapped in this skin immediately gives us a kind of connection to everything that allows us to understand, to interact, to move, to sense, to play, to do all the things. Okay, connects to the moon, the stars, the cosmos, star systems that we ain't even aware of, like all the things, right? And so, with all that, being primal by nature, being hyper spiritual, having flesh that gives us this kind of connection, all of this, what do you mean without plant medicine? All of this, then the human aspect of having ancestral memory, okay, of having emotions, being here on earth with other beings who are not melanated, who are of another species. That's a whole other conversation I won't get into, etc. And being descendants, or just being on earth amongst descendants of people who, uh, oh God, whole intent was to make sure our primal selves, our highly spiritual selves, were demonized, were misunderstood, were, put all kinds of symbols and confusion around it, demonizing it, etc., etc. Okay, so much about who we are as primal beings and as melanin beings has been littered with confusion and demonized and made wrong, etc. And again, I'm talking to women right now. This applies to men too, but it's important that we focus on women right now. Okay? That we focus on women right now. There's a conversation too to be discussed with the men, and perhaps they will come in here, but right now I'm focusing on the women. Okay? And so here you and I are here in 2024, right? With There was a 1924. We weren't there. Like, we're clear that none of us were there in 1924. Yeah. But we know our great great grandmother was, or our great 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 grandmother was, right? Our great 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 grandfather was, right? We know that 1724 existed, right? But we know we weren't there, right? We know on some level, right? Because once we start going back to, before recorded history, etc., we don't really know. Where there are scientists and astronomers and yeah, anthropologists and sociologists who do research on land and bones and everything and draw conclusions, but they don't really know, right? Like, how can anybody know what was really going on in ancient Egypt? I mean, we can go read things and, read scrolls and read walls and go lay on the land and etc. But we don't know. And even for those of us who are like, I got to download, you bring it forward and you don't know what's going to come from the download, right? You get a word from spirit and you go do something, but you don't know what's going to come of that, right? So so that puts a kind of, that can instigate a doubt right there, right? I got this download, but is this right? Right? Like, I know I went to Egypt 5 times and I read this scroll and I studied over here and I did this and I got this download to do this, but how do I know? Like, is this right? Like, how, right? So we got all this data from our ancestors, from before recorded history, before we even had names recorded, before China was China, before the US was the US, before things were organized and nations were built, right? We don't know. We don't know. And so consider that. Also consider some things that we do know to some degree, right? Because everything is debatable at some point. Everything. And because I'm talking about women and power and fire and you taking what's dormant in you, that power to bring it forward, I want to bring forth a multitude of things. One, let's go to slavery and then we'll go back, into the witch hunt times. Okay. So slavery, we know, keep your head covered, play small, don't be smart. Be scared. Be very scared all the time. Okay. Uh, uh, Being used for commerce, being used to profit other people, never us profiting ourselves for ourselves. You're ugly. You're not smart. And you guys, I'm sure many of you can name other things about who you were and what was considered your destiny and identity, etc., as a melanin dominant woman during chattel slavery here in the United States, right? So we got that going on in the background. When we want to bring this percolating thing up, that's powerful. That's restoring our right place. Right place, bitch. Your job is to work. Commerce, bitch. You are here to be in service to other pleasure. I don't know who told you that, right? So I'm just bringing a little context into this to understand what gets in the way and what is required. So we take this dormant power that's incontrovertible, that would, when this thing is unleashed, motherfuckers is gonna get out the motherfucking way or get on board. I know this as a matter of fucking fact. And when the right melanin dominant man and the right melanin dominant woman come together, listen, go consult with your ancestors if you got questions about that, okay? So you got that going on, chattel slavery, okay? Then let's go back to the witch hunt times, okay? If you even act like you was growing some herbs, bitch, you did. Bitch, if you got red hair, oh, you a witch. Oh, no, no. You over here talking about somatic wisdom, body and oh, she is definitely of the devil's work. Oh, you want to be a speaker, a TEDx speaker, talking about the body keeps the score? Oh, and that we have ancestral wisdom? Oh, hang her in front of everybody. Hang her. Make sure all the little girls see. So if they dare think that they gonna come and teach about some ancestral wisdom, they know to be scared too. Sort of like how chattel slavery, you hang him in front of everybody, in front of all the men and the women, so they know not to try what he tried. Yeah, she want to be teaching about ancestral wisdom. She want to be teaching about herbs. She want to be teaching about how to think. Yeah, cut her head off, burn her in front of everybody, so they know. Don't even think about it. How many of you? I've heard this. How many of you great grandmother is alive, was alive to see you do amazing things, and told you she never even dreamed of such a thing when she was your age? You see? So we going somewhere, okay? I never even dreamed of that. Girls today, my dentist, who's Indian, she was born in India and came over here when she was young. She has children now. She's married with children. She has a 24, she has two daughters that are in her early 20s. And she has told her daughters, you can get married, that's fine, but make sure you have your own money. She don't want her daughters dependent on the man for money. This is it. And she said out of her mouth, this is the dentist. She's the owner of her dental practice and she works on my mouth. Okay. And she said, she told her daughter, see, you get to think like that because you're here. And this is the woman who was raised in India. So she knows the restrictions and limitations. And she came over here because well, her parents brought her over here, but she said she didn't want her daughters to be under what she knows is under India, what the women are under in India. And she told her daughter, and both of her daughters have graduated from college. And the one that's 24-ish, she wants her to get married at like 27. She like, focus on work, get your money stable, make sure you can make money and do that. And then get married by 27 because you want a family, because she wants her daughter to have the whole family dynamic. And the daughter's like, I don't want to get married till 30. This is because her mother knows, and her mother, like her grandmother, her mother knows that When you, one, if you are going to be under a regime where a woman is left out of power, seen as second class, third class, etc., she's never going to even think to this right here, this percolating thing getting called to come up and out. She ain't gonna even think about that. Just like some of y'all great great grandmothers told you, we didn't even think about that. We didn't even dream about that. So this is collective. Even though I'm talking to melanin dominant women right now, Indian mothers feel the same way. Okay. Other women of color, mothers, grandmothers feel the same way. They want their daughters and granddaughters liberated. And the men of old who would hang a mother, grandmother in front of the village knew that they needed to hang her just the same way they would hang a black man in front of everybody, the way they would rape a woman, a black woman, in front of her husband, take the children in front to send the message. Because if the mother is free, the daughter will think she can also be free, and we can't have that. So this whole, we couldn't even think that when I was your age. See, it is known. So this is context for what's on top. What is on top? Why can't so many of us bring forth righteous, what will return us to our right power? Now, let's get into this right power. And I want to hear from y'all on this one. Yeah. So now we are not all the same. We need to, when you know who you are, this is an easy conversation to have. It's for those who have not explored enough to know who they are, where folks start to get confused. Okay. What's your right place in life? I want to hear from you in the comments. We got 89 people here on TikTok right now. What's your right place? Even if you know you're not living in your right place right now, what's your right place? What are you here for? What are you here to do? What is your position in life? Where do you know you're supposed to be living, doing, right? How you are to be that you are yet to be. Jason, hi Jason. Jason said to lead. Divine Digital Guide said to lead and heal. Bree said boss slayer. Perseverance said to experience heaven on earth and give that experience to others. Conscious Collective says shining light for others. What on my screen is Mel said to raise the vibration of the collective. Miss Hollow said teach and lead. I know I'm supposed to be my best self and help people. I need to help others with herbs. Motivational speaker, modeling, humanitarian model, multi-millionaire in my family to enjoy existence. Beautiful. Not sure lighthouse. Okay. Does anybody here know that they are meant to rule? And I mean that in a real way. Before you answer, pull back, pull back, pull back, pull back, pull back. When I say rule, I mean truly oversee the governance of humanity. I mean that in a real way. I mean that in a very real way. I mean that in great awareness of the responsibility of rulership, the burden of such work, the leadership required, the power that's required. And please do not conflate power with this tyrannical, upside down war power that has governed humanity for millennia. Please do not confuse with that, conflate with that. Okay. So, all right, good, good, good. This is, I appreciate Exactly. Exactly. Very good. One person said yes. One person said yes. Okay. So that's we got some honesty going on. Everybody be like, yeah, I'm called to rule, rule, rule. No. So I'm going to talk about this in an analogy like an onion. Okay. So you all know onions, right? It's a layered thing, right? There's the core of the onion, and then there's about five, six layers or so on an onion, yeah? And for the context of this conversation, I'm going to use the core of the onion to symbolize those who are meant to rule. And to be clear, those who are meant to rule are melanin dominant, primal, open heart, and in their right mind. Primal, open heart, and in their right mind. The core of the onion represents those who are to rule. As it was in the beginning, so shall it be in the end. And I'm talking pre dynasty as well. I know we love to go to ancient Egypt and, you know, Hatshepsut. Is that how far back most of us know to go? Like Hatshepsut, or even prior to her, because she was amongst a group of queens. Um, so when I say pre-dynasty, I mean even before that. I mean shit. Y'all want to go to singularity? I feel like that's too far for this conversation. So we can even go there to Hatshepsut's time and the dynasties before her, just for context purposes, right? To give a good spaciousness with the kind of power that we're talking about and the kind of rulership that we're talking about, okay? There's the core, those who are to rule. And then there's the next outermost layer, and then the next outermost layer, and then the next outermost layer. All these layers represent the levels of or the bloodline of humanity. So the next outermost layer represents the next purest bloodline or rulership. Then the next outer layer represents the next class, if you will, of people, right? And we make it all the way out to what you would call common folk. So the outermost layer represents the masses. The outermost layers represents the people who are very okay with rulership. Those are the people who easily bow down to king, king and queen. I don't need, not necessarily king and queen, but we can use that language just to make a point, right? But to bow down to rulership, okay? Those are the people who easily agree, like they know, okay? They don't, right? And then there's all the outer layers. Now, ooh, okay. I just had to erect a boundary because I could feel so much that here, okay? So today, and also our humanity, we have egos, we have wants, mere wants, we have just the dynamism of being dark and light beings, humans, dark, light, and let's just hover. We won't bring it in, but I'll just mention it for those of you who are aware of it, and that's already sitting in your mind right now. The creation of soulless beings. Okay, the creation of soulless beings. Um, let's say Satan. Let's say the creation of Satan, an evil force, demonic force, etc. Okay, which a fraction of that. is in all human beings. Okay? There's a fraction of that in all human beings. And so we're talking about today with the awareness of all this context for all the other chattel slavery, shit, the Holocaust, right? Witch hunt times. And even when we talk about Hatshepsut, Braxton, I'm busy, baby. I'll be out in a little while, okay? Go ahead. I love you. So I love you, mama. Go ahead. And so we got all this context. And keep in mind, right, when we talk about evil force and etc., how many of you know the story says it? And look, none of us were there, but this is the story that got out that Hatshepsut's stepson put forth great effort to have her impact removed from history, humanity. Anybody here know that? Hatshepsut, who was one of the first kings, she was a king, frankly. Okay? She was a pharaoh, okay, of ancient Egypt. Her stepson put forth great effort to remove her legacy. Anybody here know that? So if we want to talk about evil and man conquering and all of this, we could take it back. Okay. So I'm just giving that this evil force, this wickedness, etc., okay, has been around long, 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 long time. Okay. And it is what has, there's a word, propagated with all of the aggressive ugly that has occurred. Everything I mentioned, witch hunts, chattel slavery, etc., that was also in harmony with what was going on in each of us. Because remember, there's a fraction of evilness in all of us. It's a fraction of it is in all of us. And just think about the times in your life when you leaned toward ugly, meanness, etc. And if you're here right now, you brought yourself back, right? You didn't like feeling low. You didn't like being mean. You didn't like being ugly. You didn't like where you ended up and you brought yourself back. That's just to give a little, to speak to the evilness that's in all of us. And we use our choice all the time for which direction that we're going to go. Okay. So now, with all this context and all this understanding of where you exist on the onion scale, the onion represents humanity. The core of the onion is those who are to rule. And then each layer represents those of us who are at different levels of consciousness, different levels of bloodlines, etc. Right? And I know bloodline we always talk about it in this royal way, but you could be of the bloodline of peasants. You could be of the bloodline of a family who drunkards, right? You could be a part of a bloodline of thieves and shady folks. So when I say bloodline, I don't mean it in just a royal way. I mean it the bloodline of humans. Okay. And so all the ugly, so much of the ugly, so much of it has been uh, propagated by those who exist at not that the ones who easily agree, right? I've talked so much about the people who easily agree with the system of things. They're the very agreeable people who they are the outermost layer of the onion. Those are the people who obey easily, they get in line easily. If they hear to do it, right? If the current order that tells them to do it, they do it, right? If the government tells them to do it, they do it. If the state government, they do it. These are the people who are very agreeable, okay? Then those who are on the next outer, and I'm not saying those of us who are meant to rule are not disagreeable. We are too, but the refinement that I've talked about repeatedly is where we return to who we are to be so that we can rule. This is why I keep saying primal in our right, open heart in our right mind. Right mind is a result of the refinement. Your right mind is a result of your emotional refinement and the skill. I'll talk more about that. So all the ugly that has happened, Holocaust, chattel slavery, etc., these are the people who have been very disagreeable who exist on the next outermost layers of the onion. So the creators of chattel slavery, the Atlantic slave trade, of the witch hunts, etc. Because keep in mind, it was two German monks who created the Malleus Maleficorum, which was basically a Bible for witch hunts that told you how to hunt women, how to kill them, how to, you know, torture them in front of people. It's called the Malleus Maleficorum. It was two German monks who do that. You're not a very agreeable person if you're becoming a monk to begin with, okay? You have some very strong intent behind you, causing you to even get into monkhood. So that's just to give a small example of the minds that have created so much of the ugly. What ugly? That's on top of, why do you struggle with bringing this up? This, the thing that you are called to do keeps calling you. It burns to come up, but you scared, shame, fear. I'm going to be persecuted, rejected, killed, etc. Okay, so all those outer layer people who created chattel slavery, Holocaust, witch hunts, and more and more and more. I'm just naming those because those are most familiar to people. The seeds of what they've done, the memories of what they've done, the ancestral memories of what they've done, the implanting of symbols into your mind of what they've done starts to get activated when you call yourself coming to restore righteousness, when you call yourself being who you actually are and restoring true power. Ask me any questions right now. Ask me any questions. If you're like, yeah, but what about, or something is not landing, let me see if there's any questions here that need to come out right now. Somebody said, we have to heal. Hi, Candace. We have to heal our bloodline's ancestral trauma. How does that show up? How does what show up? I'm going to keep going here in a minute. How does what show up? I definitely experienced my ancestors' memories. Please get a profile photo if you want to be acknowledged here and for me to answer you. YouTube, what's up with y'all? Y'all mighty quiet. Anybody else? I'm going to open the window again. Whew. So, okay, I feel like I need to put some emphasis on this right here. Yes, I'm good. Mm. Earlier today, I talked about how our power is demonized, will be demonized. When I say our, I'm talking about melanin dominant men and women. And for a moments for now, I'm talking about women. All right. And I talked about us being primal to our nature. Okay. Primal at our core. We're primal. Okay. And I'm talking about this at an energy level. At an energy level. Okay. Now, here you and I are alive today, 2024, with great awareness of how the world works. And I know we all see things differently. So I know this is generally speaking how we see the world. But we all know on some level what could be potentially frowned upon, judged, shamed, looked at as right, not cool or not acceptable, right? We all have some kind of idea. And I know that generally speaking, right? And we all know that there's a lot of anti-blackness in the world, and blackness is subjective, I know, but essentially anything that's coming from a melanin dominant person is going to be highly critiqued, it's going to be highly judged, etc. Especially when we start talking about anything that exists in the true power domain. What is the true power domain? Anything that has to do with life force, anything that has to do with creation, God, spirituality, alchemy, uh, and anything that exists in the realm of spiritual connection. Anything, because let's just say spiritual connection is here, and then so many things that we could discuss. The things that I already mentioned, and the things that all of you could mention if I asked you to make a list of all the things that are reflections of spiritual knowledge, spiritual power, life force, energy. Okay. So now again, going to the woman and what it takes to bring your percolating, won't stop, can't stop. That might not be the best timing to be using his language, which, right? The thing that percolates consistently. And the level, you caught that, Latoya? Y'all caught that good. The level of power, which is why so many of y'all want your power. The level of power that it takes for you to restore who you are as a melanin dominant person who's female, who is walking around with ancestral memory, who's very aware of what could happen if you were to bring forth what you know, what is true, what is truly right, the thing that does not quit in you. All the ancestral memories, all the evil that's in other people, the evil that's in you, the memory of all the ugly that has happened over millennia. And here you are in 2024 with this thing that wants to come up. But on top of it, you have all the things that I mentioned. You have your family. Oh my God. And where do they sit on the spectrum of evil? Where do they sit in the onion in who they are? What's their belief system? How agreeable are they? Are they the people who are the most agreeable? And when they see you doing something that exists in the domain of power and truth, honey, the kind of problems that could come up in the family. So I think this is answering somebody who said, like, how does that show up? Okay. Now let's take this even further. Sexuality, sexual power, sexuality, and that being your life force energy activated. Your life force energy activated. Because life force energy is running through us all the time. You breathe, you're breathing. Okay. So you got life force energy running through you. You're breathing. For most of you, your the potency of your life force energy is dormant. It's down here. And from time to time, it wants to come up and out. And it beats and talks differently based on where you are on the onion. So for those of you, like some of the women earlier today was like, this is a spirit. This gonna happen. I gotta do this no matter what. Or for those of you who are like, I'm just here to have a good time, right? It's gonna percolate from you very different. For those of you who are like, you know, I'm meant to just be a what, right? That's all based on who you are, the blood running through you, and how your life force percolates. Because I tell you, the life force that was running through Harriet Tubman, who was real, by the way, because some people are like, how you know that was real? That was real. She never had kids, but her siblings did, and her sister's children are still alive. Okay. There was definitely a life force running through Harriet Tubman that was not running through the people who didn't want to leave when she tried to help them get free. We're talking about a different life force energy. Hers was activated. Now, let's talk about activated life force energy versus dormant life force energy. So, I feel like I'm curious to hear, in your experience, what does your life force energy activated looks like and feel like versus what does it look like and feel like when it's dormant? Who would like to answer that? Your life force energy. What does it feel like? How do you move? How do you think when it's active versus how do you move? How do you feel? How do you think when it's dormant? Let me say this. Keep in mind, your life force energy is your sexual energy. I know when I say sexual, most people's mind immediately goes to intercourse. We immediately associate sexual with sex. Understandable, right? The word sex is in it. Now, sex is the familiar, socially normalized way to engage in, to experience, to activate sexual energy. But sexual energy is the aliveness that you even feel when you go walk out in the wind, walk out in the air. When you sit in the sand on the beach and the water, if you sit close enough to the water rushes up onto your body. That's sexual energy. It's life force. When you go to a good workout class and you get it going, you sweating, you in that thing. That's activated life force energy. Yes, dancing, singing. You get into the flow. Maybe you paint and you get into the flow with painting. That's life force energy activated. Okay? God has said I go with the flow when I'm in my life force energy versus when I. Good. Goddess Ruth said I go with the flow when I'm in my life force energy versus when I'm not worried about what others think. I imagine this happens when I'm speaking on different subjects. When it's active, I am Mother Earth. When it's not, I feel like what is that, Smichael? Now, I want to bring sex into this. More so arousal that you feel as a sexual arousal for you, like clitorally, vaginally. Now, when you are singing, dancing, painting, on the beach, working out, doing whatever the thing is that you do where your life force energy gets activated and you feel it physiologically, but not necessarily clitorally. Or here's a good one. How many of you, I know this has been my experience many times, where I was in a really good, hard workout. You ever be in a hard workout and you almost feel yourself about to climax as if you're having sex? Anybody here ever feel that? If yes, so put yes. like you in a hard workout and you so in it, it's so right. It's one of those hard ones. And you feel it and it's you can feel a climax there almost like you're having sex, but you're not having sex, obviously, because you're at the gym or you're working out with a trainer or whatever, right? This is yet another example of understanding that sexual energy, life force energy are one and the same. What, how does this connect? That activation, that onness, wherever it's happening, on the beach, singing, dancing, working out, etc. Whenever we feel an activation and it's in the domain of something that is not socially acceptable, we put a story on it and then we shut it down. When you are activated in singing class, when you are activated on the beach, thank you for the roses. When you are activated working out, when you are activated painting, when you are activated doing all these other socially acceptable things, you have no problem moving through, being with the flow, going, etc. But when you feel that arousal, the same kind of life force arousal, like helping women heal something, whatever the thing is, then if you do feel it clitorally, because when you're aroused, don't you sometimes feel it clitorally? Sometimes your spine gets activated, your cranium gets. I have times where it's like I need to move my whole body because my spine is pulsating so hard, and I need to move. There have been times when my crown, literally, it's like. There are times when my clitoris is just on. My nipples are rock hard. And there's nothing having to do with sex going on. Zero, zilch. But it's like on when I either get into visualization of my actual vision, whether I'm thinking about working with somebody at the highest level, whether I'm thinking about some other thing that would take it over the edge as far as fun is concerned. Anybody else here experience that? I'm hot. Man, I'm hot. Move this damn pillow. Thing got me sweating. Some folks saying indeed, yup, yes. So to exist like that, to varying degrees, right? Because we know that's a lot of energy going on right now. To exist like that with this thing that is pushing up, the disconnect starts to happen when we don't want to be seen like that. Because, correct me if I'm wrong, fill in the blanks here if there are any. When you feel that pulsating, that high arousal, when you're at home in your room, your living room, etc., it's fine, right? You at home. Ain't nobody seeing you. There's nothing being risked. You're not being witnessed. You're not being seen. Oh, there's so many levels to this. So many levels. Oh, God. But to be seen publicly by strangers, by your mom, hell, some of y'all by your husband, because he don't really know you like that, right? That's where it's like, no, no, right? Or, okay, here we go. Before I go on, before I go on, yes, no, what do you have to say about this? So, wow, wish, okay. So there's a lot of doors open right now. Genuine desire. I really wish we were like in a room and okay. Who here, thank you, who here has a desire that's been around for a long time? The desire has been around for a long time and it feels wrong and bad. Could somebody be courageous enough? Or maybe you want to break through, you want to get some energy action on it. Who here has a genuine desire? I mean, it's been around for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years. And something about it feels wrong, dangerous. You're going to get in trouble. Anybody? What is it? Share it. Share it. Share it specifically. Share it specifically. What is it? I want to own my own bakery. It's not the route my parents wanted me to go. Okay, so I think that's absolutely wonderful, especially as a woman who enjoys my pastry from time to time. I'm talking about truly dangerous level work that has to do with real power for women. And I'm not saying there's no power in that for you because that's your dream, right? And that's a powerful thing for you to do. But I want to be clear that I'm talking about power that would impact the collective. Like the ripple effect of your work would affect the collective. You coming into power, particularly getting into right relationship with the right people, and you are deliberately playing a bigger game, which is inclusive of fun, by the way. Okay. I know a lot of us melanin dominant folks, we get to talking about transformative work, power work, healing work, and it gets so heavy that we forget that fun is a huge part of the equation. Because I be in Italy doing this transformational work. I want to be on different continents doing this transformational work. I want to be having I want to be getting my back blown out while we doing this transformational work. You hear me? I want to be having a good time, eating good while we doing this. You know what I'm saying? Abundant money coming in, us doing with it, and what we doing is being funded well. I'm not here to be on the streets, and ain't no way we can even do what we came here to do, struggling like that. You understand? Okay? We are meant to be rich financially and otherwise. I have zero doubt about that. Zero, zilch. You hear me? So I'm talking about who has one? Who has one? Who has one? Ooh, somebody said 5-star healer. I love that. Somebody said, yes, but for me, I need a female. Yeah, yeah, exactly, exactly. The right one. The right one. That's for each and every one of us. It's easy to say, okay? So who has one? What is the work? What is the vision? Right? And let me correct my language about getting my back blown out. No, I don't want my back. I need my back. Be mindful of the line. My back is essential. But not but what I mean is, you understand, restorative, nourishing sex that's fueling my body, fueling the vision. You understand? Okay? Shoot. Okay, you don't want to share it. That's fine. Okay, fine. Fine. So I'll go. For me to share that my highest desire is to see melanin dominant men and women, primal in their right mind, with their heart open, getting into their position so they can do what they came here to do. That's something that I would have felt scared, like a fool, etc., to say even a year ago. Okay. I know I say that with ease now, but that's something I would have been scared to say a year ago. I remember being scared, I don't know, 8, 9. No, this was more than 10 years. Yeah, this was more than 10 years ago. I posted on Facebook. This was like 2012, I think, that the world just isn't even going to be right until all of humanity recognizes that we are the fabric of this thing. I remember tripping with myself about even saying that. And that was what, 12 years ago. Okay. So when I talk about dangerous, etc., right? That could be an example of it. Of My highest desire is to see melanin dominant men and women who are primal, who truly are the core, who are in their right mind, open heart, in submission to each other. I talked about this. Oh, that made a heart right there. Look. Ah, it could make a heart, right? I know it's cheeky. I know. It, and I know it's flowery and cute. We flowery and cute over here, baby. Okay, we flowery and cute. We wear dresses. We like flowers. We like to play. We like to be cute. So be clear, because it's about time for high consciousness, high powered folks of really all layers of the onion to feel good, look good, smell good, be so. That could be considered dangerous. Y'all like that, huh? So it's fun. It's super fun, right? If you really are into the, typical feminine things, you know? All right. Sex. Okay. And desire. Genuine desire. Oh, wait. Okay. Wow. This is heavy. This is heavy. I feel the heaviness of it. Here is why returning to our primal energy, our sexual life force energy, is so important. So, there are tried and true and proven methods that are used to subjugate humanity, men and women. There are certain tried and true methods that work to subjugate. If we're just talking about an energy level, we could just say fear. And fear has many faces. Okay. If you don't have a profile photo, please don't speak. You know what? You can speak. I just won't be acknowledging you. Speak all you want. The many faces of fear. Now, again, when we're talking about women in power, what are the typical things that cause a woman to freeze when we talk about power? Now, power, what does that mean? Her authentic expression, her allowing this to rise, her saying what she means, her remembering who she is and acting like it versus amnesia and I don't know and that's not me and trying to be liked and people pleasing and trying to control everything because she's so that's another face of fear, like all the ways, right? So the ways that stop women from moving and keep you frozen are, how about y'all tell me? Y'all tell me, what are the things that cause you to be afraid and not move on your vision, not move on your power, lie, say yes when you mean no, people please, stay small, stay hidden, stay projecting. What are they? Insecurities, insecure about what? Rejection, rejection by who? Fear of judgment and rejection. See, these are very common. All those. Fear of being judged, but judged by who? About what? Fear of failure. That's one. Fear of success, not being liked or accepted. I want y'all to notice themes here. Doing it wrong. Oh, what if I make a mistake? Authority. Oh, the authority is going to come and get me. People scared of me, and if they're scared of me, maybe they'll attack me, maybe I won't belong, I'll be ostracized, wanting to be accepted because we're biologically wired to belong. Abandoned, oh, they're gonna leave if they don't like me. I'm too much, I'm not enough, I don't agree, I'm too potent, not being respected for who I actually am. And I have to perform something to, and that fake version of me gets respect, which crumbles me on the inside. Rejection by family and close friends, inferior complex, disrupting frequency imposed upon me. Oh, that's a good one. Being intimidating. I feel like I'm a bad person. Well, you are. Don't we all have bad in us? I like this one right here. Disrupting frequency imposed upon me. Yeah, so that's all the time, right? These are good. Thank you all so much for sharing those. And thank you for sharing the live stream. I've seen so many people share the live stream. Somebody said here, so how do we move beyond this? All this context should be helping you move beyond this, to have the awareness and the understanding. Then we're going to keep going, okay? But wait. So how do we? That's where I'm stuck. But breaking through, activating, perhaps. So you already do know how to activate. You have activated. Then what? So you're going to need community. Go to the links in my bio. Like if you want solutions, the links are in my bio. But are you? Let me finish, okay? Uh, I feel like I'm too paranoid sometimes. Yeah, you probably are. If you think you are, you are. But when I'm not, I wish I was. Stay paranoid, baby. You can have it your way. Every single one of you can have it your way, and you will have it your way, and you've been having it your way. So you can stay paranoid. I'm not even saying that's a bad thing. Have it your way. All of you have been doing what you want to do, right? So if it works for you, keep doing it. And if you've been doing it for a long time, that means it works for you. If it doesn't work for you and you truly do want something different, then that's when we can start talking. Okay. You have to first change the belief system. That's true too. Okay. So, uh, part of the reason that so many of us can stay not moving for so long is because of all these things that you all just shared. And those are always there until you move beyond them. One of the things, and I mentioned this during the womanhood initiation, and this could perhaps answer the person who's like, well, how do we get beyond that? You first make the decision that you are getting beyond it. Let that sink in first. You need to first truly make the decision that you're getting beyond it. No, awareness is just the first part. How many of you have made the decision that I'm getting past this? And how do you know you made the decision? What did you do differently? Because when you make a decision, there's an action that very quickly follows. So this is how you can start to see, well, I actually haven't made the decision for something different. Melly said I started posting more. There you go. You made the decision. And what was the decision? Candace said you decide. Not try, but you are. Yep. You act like you are. You move like you are, and you are. Exactly. And then that's going to take us to what's next. I'll tell you, so you have to change has been the way I show up. I do what I say I'm going to do. All right. I'm telling you. Okay. Do what you say you're going to do. The decision was to get past my own. Very good. Changing my mindset. I locked the door and decided to share. Okay, good. So now here we go. You made the decision, and then you took an action that proved to you that you were serious about the decision you made. Then what happens next is we're in action around the decision that we made, and we get bumped up against, right? You have a bad day. Somebody actually does judge you. Somebody asks you, who you think you are? Somebody say, girl, you tripping. Somebody laugh about something. Your mom confronts you. Your husband got something to say, right? Who has reached that stage? YouTube, y'all so quiet. Thank you for sharing the live, funny. We got some hands up in the air. Now, keep in mind, I'm talking specifically about those of you who are doing power work. And if it applies to you, even if you're not doing power work, it applies to you. Okay? Somebody said currently with me and my mom, very good. That's a big one. That was me once upon a time, mostly, or I'm observant of it rather than in it. You want to be in it. The transformation is in it. And yes, there's some observant part of it. But if you're not on the ground, especially for a woman, the embodiment comes with you being in it, not just observing it. Okay. There's a place for observation. But part of alchemy for a woman is sensational, it's physiological, because then it gets real. The fire that you're looking for to bring this up to act is going to be physiological. It's not going to be it's not a linear, logical, observant, not for a woman. If that fire down up in here ain't activated, you ain't going nowhere. And definitely not sustainably. So, story time, story time. Oh shit. Uh, there is so much knowledge here right now. There's so much here, and I'm doing the work to distill, separate it. Because if I were to just talk, it wouldn't even make any sense. It'd just be like that. And y'all be like, wait, but so I'm using my cognitive function to bring it. Thank you. Uh, okay. My womb is hot. So, our power as melanin dominant folk is demonized, has been demonized, will be demonized. Okay? There was a video where the guy, I can't, anyway, or basically just everything about what we would do naturally, instinctively, right? The way we would connect and do and live and okay, demonize your thinking, your action, your all that. And because of that, so many of us are just so disconnected. Oh, because there's a whole other. I won't right now. Now's not the time. Okay, close the door or listen. Okay, it has to. Okay, it will. Okay, and I mentioned earlier about the many faces of fear and what has been tried and true and what works all the time to activate fear, not only in humans, but particularly in melanin dominant people. And what do we know are some of the things that will make melanin dominant folks fear? Taking something from the Bible to demonize what you're doing. right? Fill in the blank. What else? Um, calling herbs and crystals and things witchcraft. Oh, right. How many of you have been called the devil because you have foresight, because you were prophetic at 7, right? Um, because you just knew things. You just knew things, and they feel like you're a child. Stay in a child's place, huh? What else? What all the things that we could do. If we want to talk about it from a gender perspective, you talk about sexual liberation. Oh my God, the level of attack from the males. Which to my hoeing, right? Uh, or any kind of exploration, right? Just think about all the different ways that are tried and true that work, right? If we want to talk about it from a bigger, if we want to talk about it at a right a mass consciousness and mass collective level, the white man, right? What he gonna do? And if we come together, they gonna come bomb it. If we get up too high, he gonna come and destroy and take and right. That background, conscious, unconscious thought can keep a lot of us frozen, right? I'm just that one. Somebody said grape. Thank you. Grape, grape, right? Oh, if I am free. And for a woman, free in your body is even just walking around planet Earth without being terrified of being in a feminine vessel activated. You could be modestly dressed, activated. That scares a lot of women because when a woman is activated sexually, primally, she could be covered head to toe, dressed up to here, down to her ankles. Men, people are going to be drawn to her. That is scary to a lot of women. So I'm just naming the variety of ways that fear can come in and you'd be like, no, no, I can't. Now those are the evident, you know, easy to identify, etc. What about all the ancestral memories that you can't put your finger on, but you feel fear about opening up your voice around this? You feel fear about bringing this way of being out into the world, this topic out into the world, this conversation, this download, this dream. You feel right, and you don't know why. Like I just feel scared, girl. I don't know why. That's an ancestral fear, right? Which oftentimes, because so, here we go. Because so much of who we are has been hidden, repressed, by a lake, destroyed because the men didn't like it. So this impact, how many of you see, because women's wombs are so activated, who here has had a download? It came to you in a dream, it came to you in an activation, a download about a city, some great impact that women had 7, 8, 900 years ago, 3,000, 5,000 years ago, that the men of that time totally shut that shit down, killed it, killed it. How many of you even know more knowledge about the rulership, women's position and power, and how much of that has been hidden and repressed? But you don't see it in a book. Nobody is talking about it. You don't see it anywhere, but you know it. Like you really know it. Anybody here had that? Hannah says, speaking your truth as a woman and not to be in submission as an Asian. What about that? Give me some context there. Right? Right? You got, see, we have, this is, and I want for the men who are here, because I know you're here. Hello, darlings. This is the power that women have. We have wombs, and this is how we're able to get this knowledge. This is how we're able to lift you, see things that you can't see, have knowledge that you can never have. Even for those of you men who are hyper spiritual, who do all the spiritual things, who are aware of this all in the mind. You're doing your rituals, your baths, your spiritual, whatever, you're working with your spiritual teacher, all the things that you do are great. Yes, keep doing them. And there's an access and a knowledge that women will always have that you will never have. And this is part of the reason why. A couple things. One, why? Once upon a time, your job, your chief job, and it still is today, just so many of y'all out of order. Your job was not to lord over women, to tell women what to do, the way it is now. Your job was to make sure she was protected and taken care of, and that you maintained order while she moved from the wisdom that moves through her, while she leads in that way, while she guides, governs, teaches, has the communication from the unseen realm to bring it down and through. Your job was to take care of, to cater to see, for those, regardless of how you feel about him. I know you may have your upsets. You can disagree all you want, but what's his name? I won't even say his name because I don't want to activate that right here, right now. But, and that's why so many of you men who are in relationships with women right now, when she activates with you, and whatever way she activates, right? Maybe she dances, maybe she, whatever she does, where she becomes on, isn't there a part of you that wants to come in and make sure she's okay? Something in you activates, right? Unless she tells you stay away, I'm fine, or whatever, y'all got some kind of agreement. If you see her where she's, and this is an exceptional experience, I think, for a lot of women are afraid to really unleash with their men. But when she starts to unleash, maybe she goes into a tantric state, she just really activates. Isn't there a part of you that wants to come in and make sure she's okay? You want to make sure shit is in order, she's guarded. Yes or no, for the men who are here? And I know it's some of y'all who are here. Even when she's on her period, right? She on her period. There's certain understandings and agreements in the house. Being on your period is a very activated life force state, by the way. Very activated, high life force state for a woman. And for a man who is in his masculine place and you in a house with a woman, and there's a understanding and she's not afraid to unleash around you, right? You guys make agreements in that house of how moves when she's on her period and what she needs. And you are happy to take care of that, right? Bree said a very, very sacred one. Yeah. Joy said grown men. Right. And so this is what I mean by, we know this, and it acts itself out beautifully when we submit to each other versus arriving to a relationship with you're supposed to be like this, I'm supposed to be like that. And this is what I mean by, now I'm off track. No, I'm on track. When there's a submission to each other, and this goes back to my workshop, Better Sex and Deeper Intimacy, 10 years ago, to get us back into connection and feeling with each other. When we actually start doing that as melanin dominant folks, there's a way that we naturally disconnect from the belief systems that so many of us have been living in for so long under old boy's system, old boy's ways. Because a lot of us are, more so the men, then the women are still, wow, are still, that's all they know. Okay, okay, now it's time to pivot and put some real, we need to put some empathy and some sensitivity on this. Now, some empathy and some sensitivity on this. Okay, so this is where, okay, so there's a connection here. It's not absolutely clear yet, but there's a connection with the many faces of fear and the tried and true ways to get women to abandon themselves, to be afraid, to not move on true power, raw power, primal power, the many faces of that. And one of the faces can and will often come from her man, okay, or men she don't even know, her father, men on the internet, etc. Right? This is a tried and true face of fear. Now, oh my God, there's so, come on now, come on now. There's so much. Wow, there's so many angles to take this. So let me just speak. I might sound a bit chaotic for a little while, but we'll bring it together. But we talk about it from a chromosome level, right? Woman is X, man is Y. If we talk about it from physiologically, the woman has a womb, which gives her an access and being a portal for things. The man does not. So she has access, connection, holding that he cannot. If we talk about it from a nature, meaning the nature of the male is logical, the nature of the female is intuitive. So these are, I'm giving different angles of how to look at what makes a different. Okay, anybody want to add? Because there's so many. There's just so many angles. It's just like there's so many different ways we could talk about it. So he's logical and linear. She's a intuitive, deep feeling, and she's actually most primed to be primal and to live from that intelligence. Okay, fractals to the diamond. Okay, so women are holders, containers. That's what being a portal is all about. Holders, containers, what do you call that? Incubators, channelers. They're receptors. They're the ones who can circulate. Okay, like in, out, in, out, in, out. Another way of looking at this is multiplier, like that pastor who video, whatever you give a woman, she multiplies, right? You give her a house, she makes a home. You give her food, she makes a meal. You give her, right? So she's she circulates. She's a get, right? So this is the woman, right? The man is a linear creature, right? Night and day seasons, yeah, right? Leads emotionally, right? And this is why the refinement of our emotions is so important, okay? Um, Okay, good. I'm glad you are aware of this, Yazid. Very good. Uh, where we need to go, where I'm glad to go in this conversation now is perhaps many of you are not aware of. So we got a man who spoke up. Hello. What many of you are not aware of is what your mom and sisters or daughters look like activated. Okay, what does she look like with her life force activated, particularly doing the very distinct work that she's here to do. Okay. What's been your experience in the presence of an activated woman, Yazid? What's been your experience in the presence of an activated woman? Meaning she's turned on. I don't just mean like she wants to have sex with you. I mean like she's up, on about life. She's up, she's on. Her frequency is high, she's on. And it can be sex too, if that's the only way that you've seen a woman activated. But what's been your experience being in the presence of a woman that you weren't having sex with? who was on, activated, alive, right? What, or any man who's here, what has been your experience there? Okay, so you're talking to Yazid Bree. Lori Lori said, my experience is the man wants to bring it down to his emotional level. Jen said, commands power, respect. Empress says, electrifying. Yeah, so these are all women talking. So, first of all, most men have never been in the presence of a woman activated who they weren't having sex with. First, okay, most men have never been in the presence of a woman who was activated who they weren't having sex with. And if they were, they likely didn't know how to deal with it. Okay, which is why so it was said here, and so many women have said, I mean, and I've experienced this where they want to shut it down. They want you to be quiet. They want you to stop. They want you to, right? It's uncomfortable, etc. Okay. Um, and so when I talk about the many faces of fear, and somebody said they want to contain it. Yeah. The many faces of fears and the tried and true ways to get women to don't do it, is that either her man, her father, or strangers, men on the internet or men at work, etc., coming in and saying something that is meant to shut her down when the real source of why he's saying that is, I don't know how to be with that. I don't I don't understand that. I don't like no. But instead of saying this is unfamiliar, I feel out of control. I don't, right? Or it causes me to think about this. One time I was getting off of BART. So San Francisco's underground transportation system is called BART. This is years ago. I was in my 20s and I got off BART and I was on the escalator going up. And this young man was catcalling me from behind. And I just kept going. I ignored him. And he was following me, kept catcalling me. So now we going up the escalator. And finally I get frustrated. And I turn around and I'm like, really? That's how you gonna get at me? That's how you gonna get at me? Now, he could have been like, he could have been ugly about it, right? He could have said something ugly, bitch, da 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 da. But he was like, well, man, show me then, man. Show me. Hella honest. Hella honest. And so many men don't do that. They don't say, this is new to me. They don't say, I don't know how to handle this. I don't. So instead, who was here who said they deflect and demean? Somebody said they get overwhelmed and they shame or deflect. Yeah, they get overwhelmed and they shame and deflect. Somebody said they're clueless and want to be. Somebody said insecurity. Lori said that's exactly what they do. Yazid said, I'm open to the complexities of women. However, I don't want to suppress you. I'm trying to flow with. Okay. If you mean that, it'll show. Because a woman knows, no matter how much she lies and like seems like she's cooperating, she knows. Help is hard for them to ask for, but y'all better figure it out because we literally don't have any more time. It gives them control, or they think it does. So I'm bringing this up in the context of those of us who are meant to rule and you getting into true position, okay? Even if you aren't called to rule, you being a woman, okay? And allowing, and this is what we do in my community, the woman community, allowing your life force energy to be witnessed. Now, this is risky. This feels risky for us because of the things that you've already shared here. How men are going to respond, how people are going to internet respond, how your mom is going to respond, right? Then what you doing, who you, okay, and all the things. So here's a story that I, and the many faces of fear and why coming home to your primal energy matters. If it seems like it's all over the place, it always comes together. I'm here for a while, okay? You're very welcome, Candace. Teresa, I mean, I'll let y'all organ. So I've told this story before and it could get long. So I'm going to tell a condensed version, okay? I wanted to put together an event in Sacramento. I went onto the internet to find an event space, found one, called the number on the website. You're welcome, Joy. Called the number on the website. A woman answered. She's like, yeah, that's my boyfriend's place. I'm going to be up there. I live in Oakland. I'm going to be up there tomorrow. Let's for you to see it. I meet them the next day at his event venue. When I get there, he opens the door. Instantly, I'm attracted to him. Now, at this time, this was years ago. At this time, when I felt arousal that felt sexual, literally at a clitoral level, because remember, not all arousal feels vaginally aroused. Okay, there's some arousal, plenty of arousal that doesn't feel vaginally aroused. In this instance, I was vaginally aroused. And at this time, I also felt shame about being aroused by another woman's man. Even if I didn't know he was in a relationship, if I was aroused by him, then I later found out he had a girlfriend or wife, I would feel terrible shame and I would hurry up and abandon ship. Now, what also happened at this time is that I had just come out of a dark night of the soul. And in that dark night of the soul, I was told very clearly to one, now it's time for you to help women heal sexual trauma. And number two, it's time to allow your sexual self to come out into the front. Prior to this dark night, she hung out in the back. How many of you can relate to that? You leave your sexual self in the back because people, how people gonna look at you and how you gonna handle that and blah 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 blah. Right? We got a lot of yeses up in here. So that's how I was prior to this dark night of the soul. And for those of you who have been through dark nights of the soul, you know that once you get dragged down like that, your attention is gotten, and you better make sure you get the gold about that thing, because if you don't get the gold and if you're not obedient, you're going to be back in that thing within a year. That's the whole point of dark nights of the soul, to wake you up and to transport you into your next level of power. And so many people are so busy trying to hurry up and get out the dark night. You're disobedient. You don't want to do what you get told to do. You don't follow instruction. And that's why so many of y'all be in a new damn dark night of the soul every 3 months. Every 6 months, you in a dark night of the soul. You know why? Because you wasn't obedient in the last one. You didn't follow instructions. You didn't fully surrender to it. You was busy trying to get out of it, keep yourself distracted, don't want to let yourself submit to the bottom of that thing. When you submit to the bottom of your dark night and you follow its instructions, boy, it shows materially, because you change. You remember I said you make a decision and then you act, and you stay in the act of that frequency, and that propels you fast. So anyway, in this dark night of the soul, it was very clear to me you're bringing your sexual self forward and you're helping women heal sexual trauma. So boom, here I am off going to host this workshop to help women heal sexual trauma. Now, because I have made the commitment that I was bringing my sexual self forward and I wasn't going to hide and run and have her all in the back like I was before, when I come to this event venue and I see that this man is aroused, because I'm new to this, my first instinct was to lie, was to be like, oh my God, this is her boyfriend. Stop, no, right? And to go into like, don't look at him and trying to be good and all this, right? And I could not hold it down. Now, listen to me about the many faces of fear and how desire works. Okay, listen, this is why I've said many times, follow primal urges. Not because you just trying to be a whatever out here, but because you want to find out what's behind the urge. Why is it there? What is this thing that compels you? Because the whole like trying to play modest, I'm telling that shit gonna eat you up from the inside. Be modest, be good, be quiet, control, self-control, discipline, smoke screens, illusions. That shit is gonna rot from the deep, is what it's gonna do. You want to respond to find out what's behind. I can guarantee you, most of the time, when you are doing this consciously, most people are not living consciously. Playing small is a silent killer. It is. When you are doing this consciously, remember at this time, the decision is my sexual self is coming forward. And I'm going to help women heal sexual trauma. When you make decisions about being visible, playing the real game of life, being powerful, being pure, y'all don't know. Listen, that's a whole other conversation about what purity actually looks like. The path to purity is dirty. I always say purification is dirty work. Purification is dirty work. You want a pure heart. You want a pure mind. You want to not like Kaylin or who was that who said here, being contaminated by other people's energies and all of that. And so you doing all this work to deflect energy and resist energy and putting up guards and shields and protection spells and all this and all that. Do you know what kind of cave prison you putting yourself in doing all that? Because I need to put in my protection and put in my white light around me, and I need to deflect, and I need to wear this to keep the evil eye out, and I need to do. You know what kind of war you're creating in here? I need to be modest and good and disciplined. Do you know what kind of war you're creating inside? How does it even feel doing that? When you're doing all that, how does it feel to you? How does it feel? Girl, what you about to do? Girl, I'm about to go do this protection spell, girl. Girl, I'm about to go put on this protection spell, girl, because this evil eye out here, girl. Girl, you attracted to something that's pulling the hell out of you, and you like, no, but I can't. But I can't because I'm married. Because he got a girlfriend. But it's like, look at fight. Lame, constraint, exhausting, anxiety, fear-based, torture, constant mental conflict, literal hell in the brain, almost took me out. What else? This is exactly what it is. This is why there's so much of the tyranny in the world. I want y'all to know that. Latoya said, this is why there's so much tyranny. The purity is out. Now niggas is gripping. They want control. They trying to force when, if long time ago, up in their house with their mom, they had the freedom to explore. They had the freedom to play. They had the freedom to try this. They explored in their life. They got a chance to play. They weren't shamed and told, this is how you're supposed to be. This is how everybody gets up into some kind of prison. Anyway, all right, let me finish. So, now, my first instinct is to be ashamed that I'm attracted to this guy and this is his girlfriend. That was my first instinct. So I did all the things that I would normally do in the past. Don't look at people, be good, be nice. Okay, turn away, walk away, look away, all of the things, right? And this is one of those things. Remember I told you when that thing is trying to come up? Yeah, put your head down, all that. And I was doing all of that, girl, like, right? Remember I talked about how you got this thing, your life force is trying to come up and percolate and go out and do the thing, right? And but you do such a good job and you with your own will, but all the other things that you know you're going to get in trouble for, all the ancestral memory, all of it is right there. You're afraid of losing something, gaining something, somebody saying something. happening. Being out of control. That's a big one right there. Because if I lock it down and I play inside of this role, even if it's exhausting and it hurts and it's anxiety, at least I'm like right here. Like, so it gives you the illusion of some kind of control, right? For a very specific time, this I was married and the guy had a girlfriend. Yes. Okay, so let me bring this around to the many faces of fear and the smoke screens of it all, and why I keep saying follow primal urges, follow primal urges. So I did all of that. No, no, no. I left that meeting. They wanted us to work together, and I'm pretending the whole time in the meeting. I'm doing my damnedest to not look at him. She and I are doing most of the talking, and they want us to work together. So I'm like, okay, I'll let you know tomorrow. They're like, let us know. Okay, I'll let you. I leave the meeting, go get in the car, and I am freaking exhausted because I've exerted so much energy to look a certain way. This is why so many women who play the modesty game as a means to secure the title of good and wholesome and modest are so fucking exhausted and sick. It takes a tremendous amount of energy to maintain a modesty that's fear based. If you're modest because you're actually truly modest, that's one thing. Most women are not modest because they've explored life, they've lived, and they realize, no, I've already done that. And maybe every now and then I'll, wear a dress that has cleavage or maybe area, but I actually prefer to dress more modestly. Most women are not modest from that perspective. They're modest because they're ashamed of their body. They're modest because they fear their sexual energy. They're modest because part of how they secure whatever they secure in life is through, it's like an exchange. I'll be modest if you give me this. I'll be modest if I get to have this feeling in this relationship. I'll be modest because I get praise from whomever for being this. It's not pure modesty. The women are saying yes, yes, yes. Lori said, I didn't act on it either, but it plagued me for a long time. This is what I mean by how things control you from underneath. And you think you're in control, but it's just controlling you underneath the whole while you think people, not, okay. So I'm exhausted now. I'm in the car. I've exerted all this energy. I'm exhausted now because I've been pretending in the meeting and they want to hear from me. And I'm like, I cannot work. So then I start paying in the car. And I used to be a stress eater. So I call a girlfriend of mine. She's like, I can't talk right now, but I can talk in like 20 minutes. So I'm like, fuck. So please keep in mind, like I was truly panicked. Like the activation of my life force energy, totally unexpected, totally caught me out the blue. My lower back is hurting. And at this point I'm hyperventilating. I'm like, because when life force energy has been suppressed for a long time, you start unleashing it, this is what it feels like. You're hyperventilating, you don't know what to do with it. It's like chaos, but it's new to you. But wait a minute, but I don't know. But because I had made the decision, remember I said earlier, you need to make the decision. For the person who's like, how do we do this? How do we do? Make the decision that you're coming out. Make the decision that you're going to be powerful. Make the decision that you're no longer hiding and playing small. Make the decision that you're no longer going to be dried up creativity. You're no longer going to be overweight. You're no longer going to eat yourself into numbness. You're no longer going to wait, hide, play small, going loops, do the bare minimum. You make the decision. So when you first, it's like a baby that's walking for the first time. They're falling. When you first start experiencing your life force energy activated, after having not experienced it for a long time, it can feel terrifying. And this is where I was. And it's, oh my God. So what do? I go get some fried chicken and some macaroni and cheese because I'm a stress eater. See, this is why so many powerful Black women are overweight. You're eating the power down because you think if I can just stay good, stay modest, stay wholesome, I'll be safe, I'll be secure. I'll be loved. I'll be a good girl. I'll be doing it right. I'll be divine and orderly. We are primal beings. That right, the fact that we're primal beings, you off trying to maintain that lie. Okay. So who here knows that they're overweight because they're stress eaters, anxiety eaters, nervous eaters? You numb yourself, you push the food down. You're like Gwenna, who's afraid of being attractive, so she would keep weight on because now I feel safe in the world. If I'm overweight, I know less men will be attracted to me, less men will look at me, so I feel safer in the world. She said this. She was courageous enough to say this. Most women will not say this. They'll be constantly be like, I'm trying to lose weight, but they don't want to deal with the power aspect of losing weight. Because if you activate your life force energy and let that thing live, you will naturally lose weight. But if I activate my life force energy, my husband ain't gonna like it. My mama ain't gonna like it. What people gonna say? That's foreign to me. How am I gonna do that? I'm a mom. How is that gonna work? So I went, because I was in my infancy stages of living alive again. I went and got some macaroni and cheese and fried chicken while I waited for my friend to be available to talk on the phone. I ate that food. She and I got on the phone. I told her what happened. I'm all dramatic on the phone because when you're refining your emotions, it's extremely chaotic. But if you've made the decision that you're going to get through to the other side, you will. It's going to be messy. It's going to be chaotic, perhaps terrifying, but you will get to the other side if you have made the decision that you're going to get to the other side. If you in this like maybe, hopefully, I don't know, girl, I'm gonna try. We gonna see. Yeah, that's the those of you who come up and you go right back down. You gonna try, but you go right back down. Make the decision. Latoya said I was raped when I was younger. That played a role in my weight gain. I did not want to be seen. That is so common. That's why so many women get divorced because they are afraid to live their life force energy with their husbands. Is that what you mean, Yazid? They're afraid to live it with their husbands, like is that what right? I was in a relationship with a man. He was the only man I was having sex with. I was not cheating, not even remotely. Not even thinking about it, not even like talking to nobody. He was the only man I was having sex with, and I was young. And I remember just being curious, wanting to explore. He and I in the bedroom. I wanted me and him to explore each other, like evolve our sex, because you know how sex can get pretty mundane. I wanted us to explore our sex and our sexuality. And I just organically, naturally started moving my body in the bed a particular way. We weren't even in the bed. We were like on the bed, and he was leaning up against the bed and I was leaning up against him. Like he was behind me, and I just was like started moving my body in a certain way. And he pushed me off of him and was like, "Who you fucking?" So this kind of stuff is happening all the time. Women are so vast. We are so vast. And those of us who are here to rule, we need all. We cannot play this. Because it's one thing if I'm aware a modest situation because that's actually how I like it, or that's how I actually choose to. But this fake modesty that's prevalent, this fake modesty, policing other women, being, look at her with her chest all out and all that. Baby, listen, when your modesty is from a pure place, you totally understand and can see why a woman has her chest out. You're not all like, her chest out. I know it because I'm one of those women. Okay. I knew that's what you were going to say and has held me back too. What are you talking about, Luna? Be free. I can flow with your independence and life. So, my friend was like, I told her, I said, listen, girl, I want to go have this meeting. I don't even know these people. And I just saw him today and I was just like, oh my God, I want to have sex with him. What do I do? I'm trying, girl, I can't, how about this? And girl, this is all the drama. And she just very calmly was like, why don't you just tell the truth? What? Tell them the truth that I want to. Girl, what? Girl, that's the girl. So here, right here, desire, right? And remember, genuine desire is not a mere want. It's not just, oh, I want this, I want that. No, genuine desire comes hard and repeatedly. It comes hard, it's relentless, and it's repeated. Okay. I told you that this had been my pattern. This is my habit all the time. For as long as I can remember my adult life, if I was attracted to a man in this strong way, in a sexual way, and he had a woman, I always felt guilt, shame, and I would run the other way as far and as fast as I could. Okay. So, but at the same time, boy, I would have really liked to get closer to the man, right? That's the way true desire works, right? At least that's how I felt. I would really like to get closer to the man. So in this case, feeling the same thing, shame, guilt, girl, I can't. What, ooh, girl, shame, guilt. Why don't you just tell the truth? Tell the truth. Yeah, why don't you just tell the truth? After fretting and girl, I can't, and what something deep in me wanted to tell the truth. How many of you want to tell the truth about something, but you're afraid of what you'll look like, what it'll mean, what will happen, what responsibility will be placed on you if you actually tell the truth in this department where you could lose something, look a certain way, or gain something? I decided I was going to tell the truth. I text them, I text her. I say, hey, so let's talk at this time because they had just said, let's talk tomorrow, but we didn't schedule a time. So I say, hey, let's talk at this time. Okay, great. We scheduled the time. Next day comes. It's an hour before we're scheduled to get on a three-way call. I'm panicking. So keep in mind, I'm about to tell these people who I just met. I just met this girl on the internet like the other day on the phone, right? Found them on the internet, on the phone. Just met her and her boyfriend yesterday. And I'm about to get on the phone and tell them that I want to have sex with him? What? So just this is where we are in this situation. But keep in mind, here's what's driving me. Not because I actually think I want to have sex with him. I'm responding to the primal urge. And I had made the decision that I was no longer hiding my sexual self. Had I not made that decision, I would have lied. I would have said something like, you know what? I found another venue. Lied. I didn't find another venue. I just would have lied. Thank you so much for the meeting yesterday, but I found another venue. I would have maybe not even called at all. They don't know me. Wouldn't have called at all. I would have said, thank you for the opportunity, but I decided I don't want to host the event anymore. I could have said it was great meeting you all, but I could have lied. And where would that have left me had I stayed right there in that lie? Nobody would have knew I was lying but me. But I want to hear from you in the comments. Where would that have left me here had I stayed in that lie? Where would that have left me here? I want y'all to see the cost and the why. For those of you who need to move and you need your energy to move, where would that have left me? Nothing in your energy would have changed. Disconnect, betrayal, energetically blocked, stagnant. It would have left you feeling anxious, all that. So for women who come to me and say, my creativity is stifled, women who are just sick inside, just sick, some kind of disease, anxious all the time, insomnia, highly judgmental, um, hiding and all the many faces of hiding, whether hiding behind weight, hiding behind demand, hiding behind story. These women are suppressing their life force energy because whatever they would say is the reason why. I'm married, you know, There needs to be a whole new agreement in marriages that we will respond to primal urges so we don't end up bored, stifled, trying to rearrange the furniture on the Titanic. You know, when a marriage is dried up, so we try to do these different things to spice it up. Well, we'll go to a different restaurant. Well, we'll try this when we watch movies. Well, we'll do this, we try that, but it's just the energy is not there because they're both repressed for all their modest reasons. So, because oftentimes it's not even that we want to have sex, and it depends on the individuals at play. I'm not saying it is or it, but in this case, it was not about sex, but it appeared like that because that historically was the thing that could get me to abandon myself. This is why I said earlier the many faces of fear that can get a woman to lie, abandon herself, not take the action. The many faces of fear. So, what happened? We get on the phone. I tell him straight up. So she comes to the phone first. She's like, he's going to be here in a minute. He comes to the phone, get straight to it. So unfortunately, we're not going to be able to work together because I have a strong desire to have sex with Michael. Let's just say his name is Michael. I have a strong desire to have sex with Michael. There's dead silence. He's the first one to speak. He says, I can respect that. She's the next one to speak. She's clearly like getting her words together because she's sort of stunned that I've just said what I just said. And she's like, yeah, I appreciate you sharing that. And I agree. It is not a good idea for us to work together. We wrapped up whatever we wrapped up in that very short conversation. We got off the phone. When we got off the phone, and here's the point of me telling this story. This is why I'm telling this story. Why I tell you to respond to primal urges even when it feels wrong, bad, dangerous, inappropriate, disrespectful, rude, bad timing, bad idea. You're going to look like a whore. You're going to look like a Jezebel. You're going to look wrong. Here is why it's worth the risk every single time. When I got off that phone from that man and his woman that I want to have sex with him. When I tell you, one, the desire to have sex with him completely left. It was a smoke screen all along. That's one. Two, when I tell you an energy I didn't even know I had opened up to me. Literally, it was like a whoosh when I got off the phone. And number three, on a material level, for those of you who are into that situation, plus another one having to do with sexuality, because we're talking about life force energy and how you're going to be able to reign, assert, wield your power, speak powerfully, do. That situation, plus a second one that had to do with my sexual self being unleashed and expressed in the world, I went on to create over $200,000 within 18 months of that experience when I had never even made $50,000 in my career up to that point. This is why it is always, always, always worth the risk for you as a woman to respond to your primal urges. It was not blind faith, Kaylin. There was no faith. Faith in what? You're responding to what is. The faith is not needed. When's the last time one of you had a strong desire to do something, but you didn't do it because how you were going to look, what somebody was going to say, what was going to happen with anybody, anywhere, about anything? It's not even faith. It's not faith. It's you do it because you're going to be blocked. It's not a faith thing. You don't need faith. Lori said it's acceptable for men to do that, even applauded, but not for women. So, thank you. So, this is what I mean by the many faces that keep a woman playing small. Because we know, like Lori just said, it's acceptable for men to do that, even but not for women. Now, why is it not okay or not applauded when women do it? For Lori or anybody else, why is it not applauded when a woman responds to her primal urges? And how do people respond? What do they call her? What is it called when she does that? What are some names people are potentially going to call her when she does that? Loose, emotional, difficult, loud, angry. What else? Oh, I feel a breeze. It feels so good. Devil, wild, Jezebel, crazy. Yeah. Selfish, rude, out of control, crazy. I got three people say crazy. Two, three people say out of control, hoe. Yep. So these are the faces of fear. We fear all of these things happening. Now, here's a convergence. Here's a convergence right here. Here is a conversion. Somebody said animal, maybe promiscuous. And people know this. This is why they call you that. They know that that's going to knock down the average woman. Call her a Jezebel. Call her a whore. Call her a crazy. Call her, right? So here's the convergence that you need to keep in mind as you're traversing this. One, that your life force energy, that thing is clean and pure when it's unhinged. It just go, even when it's not unhinged, when it's down there dormant, that thing, I'm telling, that thing will penetrate, it will go. That shit is hard. Okay. And you know that folks are going to have something to say. And for those of you who have missions that you keep abandoning, that you keep going in circles and looping around, that you keep for years, like the woman on here who said, I'm 56 now, and that's been me. For years and years and years, I've been abandoning it, running from it, telling myself stories, distracting myself with stuff, overeating. And I'm not saying she did all of that, but these are the things that we do, that we keep doing it, and then we look up and we're 56. And we're like this woman was, anxious, overweight, tired, sick, etc. So, the very power that we need to finally penetrate, to finally stop, and not only stop, but go, like really go, where you create whole new financial realities for yourself, where you call in team and resources you've never had before, where you're able to show up in conversations and relationships the way you never had before. You're able to create content that's magnetic, that calls people in. People want to work with you. They want to know your prices. They want to know how they can collaborate. They want to know more about you. They want to be in your funnel. They want to buy from you. They want to know your ways. The very thing that you need to penetrate all of these veils, all of these fears, all of these lies is an activation of your sexual, primal life force energy. The very thing that's going to be called Jezebel, whore, promiscuous, crazy, everything else here that y'all just said. And this is why my community exists. It's one of the many strongest reasons why my woman community exists. Thank you for all the sharing. Thank you for following. Thank you for all the gifts that you guys are sending over. So when I talked about the fully activated, primal, melanin dominant man and woman who are in their full power. Oh, there's so many different ways to talk about this subject. I'm not even so sure I want to talk about it, so I'm not going to. Yeah, so I'll answer questions now. Somebody said, "What do you mean ending isolation bare minimum?" I'm new here. Oh, okay. Any other questions? So to address, so now's the time to ask questions. I will see what else happens. Thank you for all the hearts. We have over 17,000 hearts. I appreciate that. Okay. What do you mean? Okay. So this topic that's on the screen here of ending isolation bare minimum. So I'll say this first of all. I'm talking specifically to women who want to do powerful work in the world, but they are afraid of people responding to their potency when they actually start expressing authentically, like the true selves, the true selves. Afraid of being misunderstood, rejected, judged, shamed. So much of what has been said, and so that is a bit discussed earlier. But then I went into long-winded um, about it during my time here. Heart, hi, heart for Nicole. I'm married, but what to do with this primal cool to another man? This primal urge, you mean, to another man? So, if I was a married woman, first of all, this would be discussed before we got married. But you're already married, so a conversation with your husband too, because your husband is primal too. Like he might even be happy that you're bringing up the topic. I don't know the dynamics in your relationship, but your husband is primal too. Like he knows these things. Have a very mature conversation, but get clear with yourself before you have the conversation with him. Like, why do you want to have the conversation? Why does this matter? What's the purpose? Like, how do you imagine? What do you want the agreement to be in that relationship? That's what I recommend for any woman who's married who wants to really begin to get to know herself, because this is a big one. I've had so many clients who are married and their husband doesn't know who they are. Like, you know what I mean? She doesn't even really know. That's the whole point. She wants to get to know herself. And some women can tell me straight up, I already know that I can't come into my full power in this marriage. Some women know that and they tell me that. And some women are like, no, my husband, he wants me to be free. He wants me to be unleashed. He wants me to express and be open. And so she feels like she's supported and she just really wants to build up the courage in herself to be able to have the conversations with her husband, to even be able to embark on it at all. So it really is dependent on the dynamic in your marriage, but you just have mature, honest, straight conversations. That's what I recommend in any relationship, whether it's marriage, boyfriend, with your mom, anybody who is important to you and you want them to know you and you want to know them. Straight up, have a conversation. What's exactly going on, Shay? I never realized how many people are afraid of being authentic self. Yeah. Especially, and it's different levels too. Women that want to wear their crowns. Thank you, Bree. When I'm authentic, people want me to tone it down. Yeah, that's pretty common. So this is why I offer the things that I offer. What do you think about all the women who are bisexual today? I don't see it happening for me, but I don't think anything about all the women who are bisexual today. How to remove block of repressing self-expression and sexuality operating my hand management. Yeah, that's a common one. What do you think about all the women? No, how to remove. Okay. So the question here from Love and Light is, how do I remove the block of repressing self-expression and sexuality? You operate in your head and you're masculine to protect yourself. Yeah. So start telling the truth to yourself first. And this is really when you're embarking on any path, any change, transformation, start with yourself privately. Start having, if there's an area that you struggle, like this one, right? Or anything else, school, work, a relationship, your body, your something with your health, start questioning yourself sincerely, right? And first, you want to really focus on the thing that's either most painful for you, most frustrating for you. Start with that one. Because oftentimes, the ones that are most painful, once those open up, it just knocks down so many of the other perceived challenges in our life. I do not respond to no profile photo. So start there, love and light. Start, go where you're most frustrated, wherever you're currently suppressing yourself. If it's sexuality and self expression, go there. And then start asking yourself questions like, and also I want to give a caveat to ask yourself questions on the affirmative side, not the uh, defirming side or unaffirming side, where you're like, why do I keep doing this? Like, don't ask it like that. Ask it in a, what do I get out of suppressing my sexuality? What would be the benefit to me in unleashing my sexuality? So just be mindful that you don't go to the bad, asking your questions from a negative, blaming state. You take it to a higher state. Does that make sense? Try just a little bit at a time. Yeah. Oh gosh. It's not doing the action and feel anxiety. But the rumination makes me relive it over and over. No context there, at least. No more questions? YouTube has been quiet this whole time. This whole time, YouTube has been quiet. Hi, YouTube. Why are you so quiet? What do you want, Jen? What do you want, Jen? What do you most want, Jen? Jen, Jen, what do you most want? What are you doing when you're happy? Who are you being when you're happy? Practice in front of your camera, love and light. Turn on your camera. Look directly here into the camera. Don't look at yourself. That's what a lot of people do. They look at themselves while they do the video, so they're not present. Turn on your camera and look at the camera and say what you want to say. Do not look at yourself. Start there. Then, when you feel comfortable enough, do a video of a topic that is important to you with you looking at the camera and then share it on TikTok. Hi, Empress D. These numbers have been pretty steady in here. That's great. Yay. There's not Lori. I lay in the bed a lot and just feel there's a lot moving through this all the time, all the time. So I lay in bed and feel a lot. You're welcome. I invite you all. The doors to my woman community have closed today already. Um, However, sometime soon, within the next 30 days, they'll be reopening. And I'm going to be hosting my womanhood initiations that are your gateway into the community. Okay. The community is $99 a month. I made it affordable because so many women, like many of you here, want to work with me, and it's cost a pretty penny to work with me closely or privately over time. So the woman community was created intentionally to be affordable and a way to have access to me. It's a bigger group, but it is a way and it works, and it's $99 a month. Again, doors are already closed. They will open sometime within the next 30 days. If you'd like to put yourself on the wait list to participate in the Womanhood Initiation, you can go to the link in my bio and click Womanhood Initiation. It's going to have today's date on it, but you can see that the time for that initiation has already passed. But you can enter your details on that page, and that will get you on the list. So when details are dropped, you'll receive them because you're already on my email list. So if you found value here and you either know or you have a strong sense that you want to be in the woman community so we can go deeper into this work, primal energy, unleashing your voice, helping you to stop hiding, help you to play a bigger game, get to know yourself, your power, your authenticity, go to the link in my bio, click Womanhood Initiation, and you can put yourself on the wait list by entering your information on that page. Hmm. Any final questions? Otherwise, I'm on my way out the door. You're welcome, Shy. Thank you, Adam. Hi, Monique. You're welcome, Kaylin.